All right. Good afternoon. Good morning, depending on where in the world you're dialing in from. It's afternoon on the East Coast. It's morning in Australia. We've got some classmates from all over today getting some hot seat coaching. First of all, just want to apologize. I know this week there was a glitch. I think our email went out and told you guys we had 11 a.m. hot seat coaching, and it was actually 1 p.m. So you aren't seeing wrong. It was an incorrect distribution. We do have, as a reminder, we always have our live active Google Calendar that you can check. In your training coursework in the Kajabi over to the far right, you can always select to populate that calendar onto yours. If you have an iCalendar, we also have instructions on how you can do that. But the live active Academy calendar is always like the safest bet. So I apologize for the distribution on Sunday night that gave you guys the wrong time on the hot seat coaching. So just wanted to put that out there. So we have two students today who are here for some hot seat coaching. I'm going to start with George. Oh, yes, my blue blockers. Thank you. Oh, and you know what? Before we get to George, I promised you guys a huge Christmas present. And I don't know who saw the announcement on Monday, but we are bringing David Wood to you in a private Academy group Zoom coaching session later this month. I'm so freaking excited about that. But also keep your eyes peeled for a huge promotional opportunity to get another smaller exclusive kind of backdoor coaching session with him that'll be coming through the feed. If you don't know David, you will adore him after our Zoom call with him later this month. Okay, I'm bringing George in. George, welcome to our hot seat coaching session in the Academy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
all the way from Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, so I was going to say, first and foremost, you are our newest student at the Academy. So you decided to invest in yourself and give yourself a nice Christmas present and join the Academy this week. It was so nice to see your name come through. So why don't you, since you're new, why don't you introduce yourself, let everybody know where you live, what's your side gig, and then or your front and center gig. What's your hustle that you're leveraging the Academy for? And then we'll get into your hot seat coaching session.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so George Marquis. I'm here in Melbourne, Australia. My main gig is my isogenics business. Been involved in it for 5 years. 1,100 people in my organisation all up. I took voluntary redundancy 6 years ago. And the counseling they told me at the time is jump onto LinkedIn, get 500 contacts, and you'll get a job straight away. I'm now 54. In those 6 years, I've not had a single response from LinkedIn to my resume.
Wow.
But I decided to keep up, so I've been using LinkedIn for a long time. Been using LinkedIn for a long time, and so I've built to 8,500 contacts. In that time, I've introduced one person from LinkedIn to my isogenics business.
Okay.
And they ended up just being a product user, which is cool. We've done some other focus on it, and we've done a whole heap of contacts and everything else. I've seen your 2 sessions with David Wood. Then I've watched David's sessions on your channel.
Wow.
I've been to University in Action a few times. And saw the results, saw the enthusiasm, and thought, I got to get some more of that enthusiasm. I consider myself enthusiastic, but internally, maybe not. The idea is just to been a manager in isogenics for 5 years. Seriously, want to get to executive, 2-star, and beyond.
Yeah.
The goal is to increase the income out of it by 100 grand this year at least.
Yeah.
And very keen on doing that. And I just have loved your talks about removing the spammy stuff. We've had different stages of lockdown here in Australia. So we've been in lockdown basically since March. And we had a whole thing there where we weren't even allowed to leave the house for a long time. And in that, I got on a TikTok and started dancing on TikTok and made 9,000 contacts on TikTok. I've introduced a couple of people from there. But again, wanting to try and basically get the words that are not spammy, that are belief, that are encouragement, that are, yes, you guys can do it as well. You just got to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is wonderful. So, and you already have 1,100 people in your Isagenix business.
Yeah, well, the beauty for me is my sponsor is very active. So my main, what do they call it? The revenue. So one of my leagues has got 1,000 people in it. My personal league's got 100 people in it.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. So you've been with Isagenix for 5 years. You're in Australia where it's like 5 a.m. right now. And you're looking for a more kind of non-spammy, kind of more professional way to find some business partners. So it sounds like you found the right home. Awesome. Okay. So tell us, what are your questions? What can we help you with? And guys, when you guys listen to George and his questions, feel free to give him some advice in the chat box too.
Yeah. So again, it's environment to use. I've been trying to get the environment right here. So I've got the iPhone here. I'm on the laptop. I've got the iPad there, trying to work out what's the best way to do it. My again, so part of it is my laptop is an old one. We've got a tax break if we spend money today in Australia. So I'm just trying to work out if I need to go and buy myself a computer to actually do the environment properly. Unfortunately, I've just woken my wife up because my headset didn't work, and I'm using the full audio from the computer, so it's not quiet in the house.
Oh, that's all right.
It's not going to be all right here, I'll tell you that. So it's the environment. So the question I'd put into the hot seat chat was, how do you change the conversation from spammy pammy to professional? Again, I've always basically led with the business. I assume you're in Susan Miller's organization because your teaching is very much similar to the stuff I've got from Susan in the past. I've tried using her Are You Open to Opportunity? Are you open to a financial opportunity? It's changed my family, and basically had minimal results with that. And so just trying to work out how to actually so the goal is to get, I've done a heap with LinkedIn, and so as I said, there's 9,000 contacts in that now. The idea is to find out, is to go through that and make it. I've tried monetizing it previously, and at the moment it's confusing because I've just jumped into the depths of stuff. I've listened to the first 3 modules, but now I need to, because I've been driving the last 2 days, so I just need to actually put that into action now. Yeah.
So great. So this is good. So what I'm hearing you say is, first and foremost, you've got 9,000 plus contacts in LinkedIn. That you've led with the financial opportunity, you've led with the business. We have a similar upline. So I was classically trained to lead with the business by my upline, Susan Miller, who sounds like you know really well. Are you part of her downline too? No. Okay. Not that it matters, but she is a professional network marketer, just for those of you guys who are watching, who really scaled to the top of another company before she came to to the Isagenix, the company she's with now. And she's just a queen of leading with the financial opportunity. There's just no fluff about her. She's straight to business. And I'm kind of her mini-me when it comes to that, like a younger version of her, because she kind of groomed me with leading with the business, which brought me to LinkedIn because I feel it works fabulously leading with the business. So let's back into this a little bit, George, because where I want to go with this, we can talk about verbiage, but I actually want to back up first and talk about the people that you've connected with, because sometimes it doesn't matter how eloquent or perfect your verbiage is. If you're sending it to the wrong people, you're not going to get the right response, right? There's over 600 million users of LinkedIn. I have clients who come in with thousands upon thousands in their network, and they have a hard time getting traction with their current network. And then I'll have clients who come in with 0 and they grow their network to under 500, yet they're getting enrollments. And part of it, a huge part of it, is targetedly, how are you growing your network? Who are these people that you've manifested into your network? So I would like to back the bus up and ask you, how did you select the 9,000 people that are in your network?
Okay, so that's very good. So initially, it was just accept every request that came in because I wanted to get to 500, and I got it to 5,000 doing that. No response.
Okay.
Then I started searching people who are open to opportunity.
Okay.
And that was at the start of, or that was basically when you guys had your COVID start. Ours hadn't started. It was before, so it was before March this year. And what I found was the majority of those people were looking for a job, not an opportunity. And as soon as you started talking about business and things like that, they basically just disappeared.
Because they're looking for, in the U.S. we call it a W-9, like or a W, what is it, a W-2? Like they're looking for a 9-to-5 paycheck.
Okay, yeah. There you go. I'm keeping the wrong side of the screen. I'm on mirror mode. Yeah. So again, so we got a lot, and I was doing the search, and again got some good responses, had some great conversations with people in that, but the result that I'd had definitely wasn't that people were coming to me. I was definitely pursuing them.
Yeah.
Basically I gave up on it because I spent so much time doing it and with limited results. So I went back to having a lot more fun on person to person. I went back, I wrote myself a manual list, and I'm like, right, I'm going back to the basics. I'm going to do this by phone. I'm going to start talking to people. But every time I've gone to start picking up the phone, I've gone, there's got to be an easier way. I want the easy system.
So let's talk about this. So first of all, the people that you've spoken to, this is like a recurring topic in the Academy where, given the unemployment rates globally right now, people are desperate to find a job, a job with benefits, right? And so sometimes they can't see the forest for the trees. Is that the way you say it? I always say it backwards. Because they are so desperate for what they feel like is security. And we have to honor that. But what I have found is with those people, I think it is critical to actually keep track of people who said they were interested until they found out it wasn't a job, and that they're so desperate to find a job right now that they just can't even entertain what you have to offer because they're trying to find a job. I always say keep a list of those people, because what happens is when they do, there's kind of categories of people within that space. And there's many people who, when they finally do find that next job, within a couple of months, they realize, they get their oxygen mask on and they feel secure again, but they never want to feel that desperate ever again. And so it's a really good time to revisit building a secondary income stream so that never happens again, right? So that's one category of people. Then there's others that you can actually, those within that group of people who think they need a job yesterday, you can talk to them about how, in your process of searching for a job, you can still work this business in the pockets of that job search and begin to create some financial security for yourself alongside. So don't be afraid, you guys, everybody who's listening, don't be afraid to push back with some confidence and respect and say, I totally get that you're looking for, a paid 9-to-5 job right now. But this business is really created, this business is designed so that you can work it into the pockets of your day. And that can include in the pockets of a job search. Right. And you can lean on stories, you guys. I'm a friend to everyone. You can use my story or people that and say, I have friends, I have colleagues, I have teammates who built this business in the pockets of their time so that when they were ready to walk away, wanted to take control, they had that financial security. Right. So you can always leverage that. Now, so what I'm hearing you say, though, George, is those 5,000 people that you initially brought into your network, it was, we say, every crumb is a meal. You were just letting everybody in, right? There was no judgment. Right? And that can get you in trouble when it comes to messaging people about you haven't selectively looked for the right people to get into conversations with, right? And so what I want to challenge you to do before you even get into trying to make sure the words are perfect is I want you to start thinking about really exactly who it is you're looking for on LinkedIn. So I know that you've gone through a couple of the modules. If you had to pare down exactly who it is you're looking for, who is it that you're looking for on LinkedIn?
Yeah. And that's been the exciting part of going through the module and listening and to your enthusiasm and things like that. And the people, again, it is amazing. Yes, I am looking for people like me, but where are they? and yeah, that's the, I think that's the point I got out of your mindset session, is basically that focus. So it's really interesting because I've gone and retaught that to some people in my organisation straight up, and that's actually part of the question is how much of what we get through the academy can we share with our organisation. It's a tangent question, sorry, but let's put it in there.
No, I can answer that in a minute. Go ahead.
Is how much can we share with the academy, and is it just say, well, just join the academy and learn yourself, because most of the people that have gone through my organisation so far aren't willing to invest.
Right.
And I love your comment that you charge the amount. When you're talking about, you charge the amount because that gives people skin in the game, and they commit to it. And I'm perfect, as you can see, I've committed. So
yeah, at 5 a.m. right here you are. Okay, so let's talk about. So I want to drill down into who it is you're trying to attract, but really quick, because that's a great question for you guys who are in the academy and you're like, oh my gosh, my team could really benefit from this. You know, from a legal standpoint, you know, any of my modules and stuff like that, you guys have paid for access to that, right? So what would be considered illegal is to actually allow your teams to be viewing the modules and stuff, right? But what's totally fair game is core concepts that you're learning and you want to go back and teach your team. Like, I can't control that. That's great. Bring value to them. You know, if you're finding that the mindset workshop blew your mind and there are some core things you really want to go back to your team and talk about, by all means, go back and talk to them. You know, I've got the downloadable worksheet on goal setting. I've really challenged you guys to work with your teams on setting goals, right? But like you said, from the get-go, this program isn't for everybody, and it's not going to be for everybody in your downline. And it is ultimately going to be for the people who are willing to invest in themselves and invest in their business and take massive action, right? So that's all I have to say about that. So you said, okay, you're having a hard time finding your people, someone like you. So tell me a little bit about your background prior to exiting the workforce.
Yeah, well, that was actually interesting because you're talking about, you've talked so often about your professional position, and I always struggled with my professional position because I saw the Amway business the day I graduated from university, and my brother shared the circles with me, and I built it to the silver level, but I always had the diamond lifestyle in my thing, and I used all the teaching that I'd learned in my professional career, but I was always, there's something bigger and better out there. And so my professional career went by the wayside because I wanted something better. But anyway, so I come from, I have an accounting degree, but basically I did business consulting for 20 odd years, and basically a business analyst and a data miner, and manager merchandise planning for Australia Post. Awesome. And so yeah, it was interesting. So it was in your mindset stuff. It was trying to go back and work out, okay, what was my professional career? Yeah. So I've been challenged.
Yeah. So, and this is going to be some really good inner work, self work for you this week. I'm really excited to see what you come up with, because what I want you to think about, George, is think back to your accounting days, your consulting days, your analyst days, and why were you excited about the financial opportunity with network marketing? What was it that was so drab or boring or not exciting or not fulfilling about what you were doing in your 9 to 5? And why were you so excited about the other side, right? And so it's almost like I want, those of you guys who are listening, you go through your avatar worksheet and you really start working through the pain points and the mindset of you're looking for people who are, I like to use the word itching, like they're itching to do something different. And the best place to really start with that right or wrong, I have found is to niche down to people that you have common ground with, right? So yeah, you could go try to find everybody on LinkedIn who's itching to find something new, but you're not going to connect and resonate the way you will if you drill down and search on LinkedIn for people in accounting, for people who are analysts, because you're going to know their pain points. And whenever you start posting content, which is going to be something you'll learn a little bit more about as you progress, George, these people are going to be, they're going to feel like you're speaking directly to them, right? The people who are analysts, who are bored out of their minds right now, know there's something more to life, and your content comes through, they're going to feel like you're talking to them. And so then when you're sliding into the DMs and you're talking about an opportunity, they're going to be way more willing to get on the phone with you or learn more about what you have to offer, because you're not some random stranger who randomly just accepted a connection on LinkedIn out of 600 million other people. You like have something in common with them. You start growing a network that's targeted within your previous profession so that your content can speak to that. And then I guarantee you, you can use the same verbiage you've been using about sifting for interest about an opportunity, and they'll be way more apt to actually get on the phone with you, because it won't be a random message. It will be when they go to check you out, maybe they don't respond the first time, but now you've created curiosity and they're like keeping their eye on you in the feed, right? And then you start making posts that are relevant to them and their pain points and casting vision, hope, opportunity, and all of a sudden it becomes a warm lead, right? So I hope this is making sense. So like, for instance, one of my real passions is women in leadership. And I think that the content I wrote today, it won't go out till later next week, but I think there's only like 24 women that are leaders or that are CEOs of Fortune 500s. Out of 500 companies, there's 24, right? I was a corporate leader and I was female. And so that to me is something I want to speak to and speak about on social media, on LinkedIn. And I talk about it loudly. Does it necessarily resonate with your demographic? Maybe not. But I'm searching for people just like me who feel like they can be heard and that I understand their pain point, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what I really want you to do, instead of thinking about your verbiage and what you could be saying differently, I want you to be thinking about targetedly. That's great that you have 9,000 people, but I want you targetedly over the next couple of weeks, I want you to be searching and requesting to connect with people who have an accounting background, have a business consulting background, or have an analyst background of some sort. And I want to be sure that in your profile somewhere, you have that's part of your previous career, that's part of your previous background, so that when they check you out, when you request to connect with them, they see that you have that common ground. And when you request to connect with them, I want you to make sure you are using an open-ended question, which I don't know if you've gotten to that in the training yet, but I want you, okay, so don't just request to connect, okay? So in the search field, 10 people a day. I want you finding people who are in accounting, business consulting, or they're analysts, and I want you to request to connect with them, and I want you to be genuine and acknowledging that you have common ground. Acknowledge, I see we have common ground in accounting. I see we have common ground in consulting. I see we have a common ground as analyst. And then the next thing I want you to say, open-ended, is curious. I'm curious, how are things in your work environment given our current new normal, right? I just want you to open the conversation with people who feel like you two have something in common. And I want to see, I would love to hear in the next couple of weeks if this is generating a slightly different conversation. And over time, your feed changes because the people you're bringing in you're going to slowly swing the pendulum towards people that you're actually trying to target versus just throwing a bunch of crap against the wall.
Yeah. So you're saying that's in the connect message, or in a conversation after you've connected? I
include it in my connecting message. Some students don't, but I train and I use an open-ended question in the connecting message. Some will I don't, but I use LinkedIn a lot. So I want to generate conversation immediately.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So with that, it comes back to, that was one of the other things I've said is, because in LinkedIn, I'm getting so many notifications, but most of them are just wish they weren't there. And I was wondering, is there a way to filter your notifications? Because most of it's just, and I've got it on my phone, and I've got another one, I go have a look, no, it's just trash.
Yeah.
Is there a way to optimize your notifications?
So when you say notifications, you mean like on your phone, like on your notifications, it's saying like people commented on this, or people said that, or so-and-so shared your post. Is that what you're talking about?
They're okay, the ones that are specific to your activity, but I'm just getting, it's similar things, but just getting lots of, wrong thing, go to it. So notifications. So like, congratulate Wayne on starting a new position. Susan checked out.
Yeah, that's just LinkedIn. I've got the same thing. Congrats. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, you just have to kind of read through it. I know.
Okay. That's my chance. And what the other one was that I want to be able to make sure I don't miss any of your stuff. And so like
the stuff I post on LinkedIn,
Facebook, your lives, all the rest of it. But I've now got the calendar in. I woke up an hour too early, so I've been up here. I've been here since 3 o'clock rather than 5 o'clock because I got the time wrong. But anyway, that happens. But I've now got the calendar in there, and I've worked that out.
Good.
But yeah, just making sure the sessions, because like even in Facebook, I'm active on Facebook, very active on Facebook. That's actually where the majority of people in my organisation have come from, but they haven't been builders. And again, it's just trying to filter through and use it as a tool rather than a mind dump or a mind dump. Yeah.
So I'll give you some advice on that, and then we'll move on to Julia here in a second. But so I like to work, and my whole team knows this. I work in time. I work in quadrants of time, and so what I do is I actually check the I only check the notifications on my LinkedIn. Like I check it twice a week, and that might drive. I mean, right. So, but I go through all of it, right? I check twice a week. I check all of my notifications. And I time block and do it, versus if you're trying to, what we say, multitask, quote unquote, you're like texting, you're working on emails, you're turn your notifications off, because all these companies get paid to suck you back into their feeds. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, their goal is to get your attention and get you on their platform. Why is that? Because when you're on there, they promote ads, and those ads generate revenue. And so that's what you'll notice. Even Facebook will ding you through email, right? Like it'll be like, you'll see it come up on your phone, even though you have your notifications off for Facebook, right? I highly suggest turning all notifications off and just time blocking when you're going to do those things, right? So don't let the notifications overwhelm you. And once a week on, I call it Cleanup Fridays, I go through and look at all the comments and the likes from the content that I posted on LinkedIn and look for opportunities to follow up with people, right? So just time block. Don't let the notifications overwhelm you because they're there all the time. Just check in on them once or twice a week, right? Yeah.
Just quickly, in one of your things, you said you had set up some sessions for the Aussies. I haven't found them in the calendar yet. Do you know any of those yet?
Oh, yes, we do have audits. We've got audits coming up. Let me look. Maybe I can look on my phone really quick. And I can also have the concierge reach back out to you. We have new content next week. We have audits. We have Performance Lab audits at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is probably I don't know what time that is for you, on January 14th.
No, I didn't say audits. I said Aussies.
You said what?
The Aussies. You said you were doing some sessions that were aligned with your Aussies that have got onto the program.
Oh, I thought you said audits. Right. Yeah. So we're trying to offer, so tonight we have a workshop. What's tonight for me? I don't usually work at night, but because we have so many Aussies and Hawaiians on the team now, or the academy, we're offering evening work sessions on occasion. So you should join tonight. We have a Performance Lab workshop where people are, what are we doing tonight? Video productions. People are sharing their videos. If anybody is signed up right now, I don't know that anyone is even actually signed up because it's a holiday. Actually, Lori Olson and Tamara Pickens are signed up. So we have 2 people signed up. So they'll be playing their videos and we'll be giving them feedback, which is for you later on in the day.
Yeah, so that works out at 11 a.m. here. And today actually is it a holiday? No, today's we're already New Year's Eve here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know. You guys are tomorrow for us. It's so crazy. Okay. All right, George. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Keep us posted. Start really targeting your network and asking them some open-ended questions and growing your network specific to the avatar that you're going to work to attract.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have Julia. Hey, Julia. Welcome.
Thank you. So excited to talk to you.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. So
you have a bonus guest here.
Oh, who is that?
This is Lily.
Hi,
Lily. Say hi.
So sweet. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Our fur babies. So, okay, Julia, introduce yourself. So let everybody know, where do you live? What's your gig? And then we can get into your questions.
Yes. And I was hoping you could look at my profile. If not, we can ask other questions. But so I'm Julia Schulte. I have a background in HR, Fortune 250 life. I'm in Orange County, California now, but my company had relocated me 4 different times. So I have been around and just, kind of a totally different path than everyone else. So I'll try to summarize, but basically I just started totally burning out hard. And I finally started doing a lot of research about people that have done sabbaticals and taken time off. And I was like, all right, if some of these people that are 20 something and, not that high up in their careers can do it, surely I can. So I plotted this whole thing to leave my career and travel the world for a year.
Wow.
So I quit my job at the end of last year and left for Portugal in January. And I was gone 2.5 months and then COVID happened and I had to come home. So basically everything I planned, which I didn't have a plan at the time. I was hoping to, figure out life while I was on the sabbatical. But then came back and was totally locked down. And obviously I'm in California. It was depressing, like, do not leave your house. So I remembered that I had a friend doing Scout and Cellar, and I just was looking at it for something to do. I had no idea of the, financials behind it. So I signed up the day after my birthday because I was super depressed, being like, sent home from Europe a week before that, sitting in my house, nothing to do. There's no jobs, like literally, even if I wanted to go back to what I used to do. So as COVID progressed, I just wasn't finding any jobs that, would at all be a good match. I interviewed for one and got down to like final rounds. It was with AbbVie actually. And when I didn't get that role and there's nothing else even being posted that would, be close, I was like, okay. By that point, I had seen the success of people in Scout and Cellar and wondered if I could try to do it full time. So I took your most recent 5-day course and then just figured, okay, if I'm going to invest in this, then I'll say I'm going to go all in for a year, 2 years, whatever it is, and see what happens.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Awesome.
Yeah. So everything about your story is like why I joined the Academy. But I think my question for you, other than looking at my profile, is avatar wise, like, yes, I was all the things you were minus the kids. And that's where I'm really struggling is I'm in an age bracket where most people have littles, but I don't. And so I can't like connect on that level. All the women in leadership stuff, yes, all the corporate burnout stuff. But because of my HR background and I was like in executive talent stuff. So I just am not comfortable. I wish I could do some of those posts JJ does, slamming this or that. I just have to be way more careful because of my background and who I'm connected to. And I can't have, the CEO of the company I used to work for seeing me say like corporate America sucks. And here's why, and here's what they're doing to you.
Right.
So I've been trying to slowly like dip my toe in the water. And actually what the post that I did last night seems to have gotten a ton of attention. And I have a call this afternoon with a former coworker who is just part of our big layoff. So,
oh, wow. Did you find her on LinkedIn, or how did that happen?
Like we're acquaintance friendly, like, you know, but so we're friends on Facebook and stuff, but it must have been LinkedIn that prompted her to reach out to me because she messaged me on there.
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, congratulations for investing in a business that's going to set you free financially so that you never have to be in this pickle again. So I'm excited that you've made that decision. It's really interesting that decisions people make in the midst of disruption, right? Like, would you have considered a network marketing business 2 years ago with a consistent, you know, predictable paycheck and all those things? No. But on the output, when you're done in the next 2 years and you built a legacy for yourself, regardless of going back to corporate or not, you will have a totally different level of control, right? It's really interesting how that happens when you create just complete financial security for yourself, even while still working. I mean, I worked full time for over a year after still making six figures. And I can tell you, I was probably a better leader because I wasn't afraid to push back because I didn't really care. And I don't mean that in the like an insensitive way. I just mean that coming from HR, you probably know this, people walk around on eggshells, not wanting to upset anyone or rock the boat because they don't want to get put on the shit list, right? And but sometimes that's what needs to happen to move organizations forward. And so it's people who have that confidence and like that lack of fear that can really move organizations. So congrats to you for doing this, regardless of where you go with corporate, right?
Thank you.
And then secondly, you don't have to be, you don't have to slander corporate in order to get your point across, right? So I hear that a lot where it's like, JJ's so bold. So those of you who don't know, JJ is they're speaking of Jennifer Jones, who's a top income earner with Scout and Cellar, who's very bold and courageous and says a lot of things that some people are not comfortable saying. And that's okay. That's her personality, right? So talk to me a little bit about what content you've been putting out that it sounds like it piqued the curiosity of your colleagues.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence. I was trying to think if it's that post or if it's the third time people have seen something or, what happened, but it definitely started to get a lot of traction last night. But something that's throwing me off is I have like men reaching out to me, one who, was an MBA, person 10 years ago, haven't talked to him since. Another was
throwing you off.
Because I didn't think that was my avatar. And that guy doesn't even drink.
So he might be really into a business.
He could be. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was proposed to invest in a startup company last week by a couple of millionaire women who are investing in it. And it is an alcoholic beverage company. And one of the women asking me to invest doesn't drink at all. And she's investing in the company. Why? Because she sees this massive financial opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So you're in between your ears right now with who is qualified to speak to you, right?
Sort of, but I guess I'm trying to figure out who my avatar is and trying to move towards that. And then it just so happens that I got contacted by these couple of men first. And I was like, I'm really embarrassed to say this, but I actually didn't even reply to the first one for over a week because I was like, why are you
Or just like, what? Give them to me, right?
But no, we'll see. I'll let those play out. But I need to figure out, I think, like how I can connect with people. It's just, again, not having the whole mom thing. It's,
opportunities that are sitting in your lap. Like, why are you holding off on responding?
Well, that's probably some, are you a therapist? I mean, for sure, I still have some stuff in the back of my head that's just like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? I could walk into a room of executives all day long and not be the least bit scared, but I'm scared to tell people that I'm doing this because of perceptions. And I'm not like, I think Scout and Cellar is an amazing brand, and I think we have tons to offer, and I don't get any of the like icky factor that I might with other things. So I'm not, it's not that, it's just people hear about it. And then it's like, the next question is, wait, so is it one of those MLM things, you know? And then
yeah,
in the path.
Yeah. So to me, so let's talk about this for a minute. Cause I feel like honestly, Julia, you have opportunity like sitting in your lap right now. And regardless of it being your actual avatar or not, I can tell you some of the biggest builders on my team, I like didn't fit the bill of my avatar, right? Mm-hmm. You know, as a corporate professional in the midst of what's going on right now, what an incredible opportunity your company is. How many people have you seen succeed in your company with Scout and Cellar that are polished professionals that are now making more money than they did in corporate America?
Yep.
Right? And how much has it changed their life? Right? And so the thing is, and I hear you, because I was in your shoes where like probably I was making six figures and I was still terrified to talk to other professionals about it because I was afraid they would judge, right? But here's the thing. You're looking for the open-minded people who aren't judging. And some will, some won't. I think that I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I think sometimes our own ego, like we're attached to the outcome. We're afraid of what they're going to think when we pitch it, right? We present it. We're afraid of the no and like what it's going to do to our ego. So what if you get 9 no's? Is it one of those things? And then you get 1 yes. And maybe it's this guy who's in the NBA, whose wife would be really big into it. And they have a massive network. And you fly up to, what's the top rank at Scout and Cellar? Like something manager, like
managing director,
right? And like, you know, in a year, it's completely changed your financial future, but it's also changed theirs because you were not afraid to have that conversation. So I would love to challenge you first and foremost. Like have you ever heard the term of like, just eat the frog, like first thing in the morning, like just go for the thing that's difficult to do. Because you've got opportunity sitting in your lap. I don't know what the conversation looks like, but it sounds like they're interested. And the best way to learn and build confidence is just to have those conversations, whether you're really ready for them or not, right? You could completely change their life. What I want you to ask yourself again is just to look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I going after this opportunity? And if I'm going after it, and if people like Melissa are, and all these other people in this community, then there's got to be hundreds of thousands more, right? That are open to it, just like you are.
Yeah.
Right? So do you think you can reach out to them and respond before a week or two from now?
I'm going to try, but I do want to get after my avatar, like, you know, and if those people come along, great, but I realize I can't talk to everybody, you know, and I think my posts so far have probably been more talking to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you want some feedback on your
I love that.
Okay. So let me, give me just a minute. Let me pull up LinkedIn. But I'm pulling this up. Shelly, I don't know if you're watching it. Was it you, Shelly, or was it Nicole? But somebody ended up with like a cardiologist out of the UK. No, it was Monet. It was Bridget. So we had, just to give you an example, one of our legacy members who's a top income earner for Monet. She was an attorney. She got a message from a physician, a surgeon, like in the UK, I believe. And she was like, certainly this guy's not interested in shampoo, right? But she got on the phone with him anyway, and he was like 100% all about the business, engaged, and jumped in immediately, right? So like we can't judge for people, right? Like people who make money, guess what? They like money, right? And when they see a good business opportunity, like a company that's 3 years old doing $100 million in sales, like, okay, so let me type you in. Let's see if I can find you. Julia.
We're connected on there, so.
What's that?
We're connected on there.
Okay, perfect. Got you.
You can unfollow me later, but.
Right, I try to stay connected to you guys for a while. Let's do share screen, this screen. Chrome tab, go. All right, so talk to us a little bit about I'm going to make this full screen if I can. How do I do this? Talk to us a little bit about your avatar right now. Like,
yeah, I'm a little struggling with that because I don't know that I want to drill all the way down into just HR. I really feel like it's more of a common corporate burnout, just, in general. Those people could be in finance, marketing, they could be in any function where, I mean, the main issue I faced, and I know most of the people that were in my same bracket did, is just, only 2 people can get promoted. Only 1% can get this. And that was my whole job, was to manage high potential talent who we gave everything to, and everyone else, forget about it. 3 years, don't care if you're the best performer in the world, you can't get promoted. So that's kind of the mindset, I think, of most people in my range, is just you're absolutely working your butt off and you're really not getting anywhere. You feel underappreciated and everything. You work for this great company, you have this great stuff on your resume, but you really struggle.
Yeah, it's a really competitive space, right? And I think that could feed into some of your content. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to talk negatively about corporate, but knowing the mindset of your avatar is that it's very either or, right? Like, it's very cutthroat. It's like you don't even want to tell your colleagues about something you're applying for because you don't want to compete with them for it, right? So then that kind of informs you with your content, is like, instead of poo-pooing that, you could really just cast a vision of, imagine being a part of a community where we all win. Like, imagine being a part of a space where the more successful your team is, the more successful you are, right? Like, that's one of the things I love talking about. And really, even on one-on-one prospecting calls with people, just talking about, unlike corporate where it's either or, it's everybody wins.
I know. It's amazing. And I wish, like, maybe one day when I'm less afraid of my background and stuff down the road, because I have pretty deep expertise in compensation, and for me to now be in this business and see that anyone can get X versus the old models. I spent every day of my life explaining to people why you can't get this raise, why you can't get this increase, why you can't,
Yeah. I mean, think about, as a leader in corporate, every year, this time of year, I would have to choose who was on each end of the curve. Yep. Whether, even if everyone performed at standard, someone was deemed because that's the way HR made it hash out. Like, everybody couldn't get promoted or paid. So I'm right there. I'm right there on the same page with you as far as, like, the struggle of, like, gosh, but these employees performed well, but somebody has to be the 3 out of 5, right? Because that's what HR tells us we have to do. So yeah, so you can. But I still think you can play with that without talking negatively about HR, and then when you're on the phone with your avatar, you can certainly expand upon it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's one of the things I love to expand upon on prospecting calls is it's an equation. It doesn't matter where you are in the organization. So if you get pushback from one of these superstar chicken listers, we call chicken listers like people you're afraid to talk to, and they're like, it's one of those things. This is, Julia, where you actually posture up to that and you say, no, actually, one of those things is the HR department I came from, where there truly was a pyramid and it was either or. In this industry, it's a flat organization where everybody wins. It's a mathematical equation of volume that runs through a center. Like, it doesn't matter where you come in. So I think you can leverage that. Okay, so HR startup, let's see, corporate HR leader, thriving winepreneur, mentor in $100 million startup, coaching others to their potential purpose. I love it. Okay, so are you getting some requests to connect from people? Like, tell me a little bit. Have you gotten any comments on your headline?
I haven't yet. And I've been playing with it, of course, since we started this, because before I committed to do this full time, I was more cautious with it. Now I'm so I keep pushing it a little further. I haven't had any specific comments on the headline. In terms of connection requests, like, I always got them consistently with my background and stuff. So I can't tell if it's more or if it's different people necessarily.
How are you responding to the request to connect?
So far, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's your homework assignment. I know I gave George his.
Yeah.
So your first homework assignment is with all of these requests to connect. I want you to ask people. I do this even in Facebook and Instagram, guys. Curious. Some of you've probably gotten the message from my VA. What was it about my profile that piqued your curiosity to connect with me? So why have you not been doing that?
So I struggle, like I remember getting yours, and I've gotten ones like that from other people, and I just struggle with them not feeling salesy or like this person has an agenda. I mean, I'm that ultimate skeptic that's just like, I'm not responding to that. So I know that I'm unusual on the spectrum and that most people aren't going to have that aversion, but I would love to find some words that don't make me feel salesy.
So what's salesy about asking someone, because you're not selling anyone anything. You're curious why they decided to connect with you. It can create really cool conversation. Like it could be a myriad of reasons that they connect with you. People connect with me every day because of my medical background as a medical science liaison, or because of a podcast, or because of someone that we know. It generates conversation, right? It doesn't mean that you're trying to close them or sell them. You're just curious why they decided to connect with you, right?
Yeah. I did go in and find all the scripts. I just hadn't gotten to that module yet. So I went in and found all of those last night. So I'm going to try to choose a few from in there that I can.
Yeah. And you can make it more you, right? So you can say something along, make it feel more authentically you, right? I've just found that works for me. But that just generates, because what works really well, the reason I want you to use this is because it's a great litmus test to your headline. Okay. And whether it's getting traction or not. Right. That is like the number one way my students can find out if their headline's creating curiosity, right?
Yep.
Some people in this program would die to be having requests to connect right now every day. People just request, see George is nodding. Yeah, like would love the opportunity for people to just be coming into their inbox requesting to connect, right? You have humans kind of served to you on a platter of an opportunity to generate conversation. And if for anything else, it's just good to ask that question over the next couple of weeks so you can get feedback on your headline and see what piques people's curiosity. You want to know, this will be a good beta test for you. Are people connecting with me because of my HR background? Or are people connecting with me because I'm rocking the boat with this whole thriving winepreneur thing?
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I can do it, if I think of it like that.
Yeah. Think of it as your beta test. You literally, you're not doing this to sell anyone. You literally want to know, is my profile, like what's catchy about my profile right now? What's leading people to want to connect with me? And if 100% of your leads say, oh, because I'm looking for a job in HR, or I'm looking to connect because of your HR background, then maybe I need to go back to the drawing board to create more curiosity with my wine business, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So what specifically do you want more feedback on your profile? We've got a minute or two left.
Let's see. Can you read the summary real quick?
Yeah.
I've tried to shorten it.
Why does a seasoned corporate HR professional pivot to the business of professionally drinking wine? Okay, that was a trick question. And I don't just drink wine, although that is one of the best perks. So are you into happier, healthy living? I definitely am. A clean, practical wine commitment. Okay, so I have a question for you. So you said that you're trying to toe the line of being in the wine business, but also being an HR professional. So are you currently looking for another job? No. Okay.
I had that initial part when I still was trying to really walk that line, but no, I'm not looking anymore.
Okay. So what are your intentions right now? Is your intention to just grow and scale your Scout and Cellar business and be done with corporate?
Yep. At least for the, who knows, given this year, none of us can say 5 years out, but at least for the foreseeable future. Yes.
Okay. So then why are you nervous about owning that on LinkedIn?
I think I've just been slowly moving towards that. So you're thinking I need to move more towards that still?
Well, I love, because when I read your about section, you're totally owning pivoting, like
Yeah.
yeah. But then I feel a lot of apprehension in your content and what you're going to put out. I think you can own this without trashing corporate America, right? I think there's ways that you can totally come out to the public. You are uber excited about this new startup that you're a part of, and totally own it, since you're not looking back, without necessarily trashing the industry you came from. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think my posts, I try to really mix it up. Some of being very bold about Scout and Cellar, and then some just more business, women in leadership, you know, different trends and stuff. So
I don't think I'm just kind of backtracking because I didn't realize, I thought you were currently still looking for another job too while you're doing this. I would suggest, I mean, there's still even ways to weigh the pros and cons when we were talking about the whole HR piece about pay structures and stuff. Knowing that you're all in with Scout and Cellar, I think like once a week you could poke a little bit of this.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you could put some really catchy content out there. Because it's not like you're burning bridges if your intention is to run with this. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you own this and you're not worried about burning bridges, your network picks up on that, and your confidence in where this company is headed is what brings them in, right? Okay. So are you into happy? Wine is a highly consumable product by millions of people every day, celebrating, breaking out the wine, commiserating, wine time. When I discovered the amazing things happening at Scout and Cellar, awesome. Looking to build an income stream around profession. Okay. No, this is good. This is a good start. I'm trying to think through.
You know, when I look back at that, Melissa, I think that I was trying to, like, it was mostly written during that time period where everyone would only know me as, you know, what I was. And so it was like, okay, trying to explain how this transition happened, because I didn't post some big, like, I left Yum Brands and I now work for Scout and Cellar. You know, I didn't, and I don't have any notifications turned on or anything. So I think in the about, I'm really just trying to explain my transition.
Hey, well, so you haven't done that. What's holding you back from doing it? Is it something you could still consider doing?
I guess I could. Yeah. I just didn't do it at the time because, I mean, it was COVID. I wasn't sure what was going on, you know.
What's your next rank? What's your next rank goal with Scout and Cellar?
Executive manager.
Okay. Executive manager. So, who's your upline? Are they on LinkedIn at all?
Yes. So my direct people still work in HR, but I'm under Kat Sontag, like 2 people under me. Yeah.
So what would be really kind of cool, this will be a great coming out for you and a goal for you.
Yeah.
Hitting executive manager. And what will be really cool is to have Kat make a post in LinkedIn and tag you about your rank advancement, right?
Great idea, for sure.
And that could be your coming out, right? And like, maybe you reshare the post and write your own story. But I think what will be really cool is to have her post it and celebrate it for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to turn a lot of heads. What do you think about that?
No, that's perfect. That's, 100%. My post from last night, it's a picture of Kat and me, and I tagged her. And so I think it would be the perfect next thing for her to be celebrating me. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I think that'd be a great reset, like coming out post and like owning this.
Yep. I love it.
And if you've got a couple of girls in your company that you are connected to on LinkedIn, it might be cool to tag them too, because people get nosy and are going to kind of look at the backgrounds and the profiles of those other people.
Yep.
I call that social proofing. Now, some of you guys are watching this and you're going, now, wait a minute, Melissa, you told me not to be friends with people on LinkedIn that I work with. You all need a little posse. You all need a little posse of people that create social proofing, right? So like, all the women in my direct upline in Isogenics are millionaires. Every single one of them are millionaires with the company. And so I'm actually connected to every single one of them, and they're all were from corporate America, right? So when we have big rank advancements or any huge celebrations, we always tag each other because it's social proofing. You know, nosy people go in and look at those tagged people, and they see our headlines and our backgrounds, and you see that we are like these professional people who've owned and chosen this industry, right?
Yep. And both of my direct upline underneath Kat are still HR professionals, so it's perfect.
Okay, very cool. All right. Well, we're a little after 2, so I've got to wrap up. But my final piece of advice with your about section, it's good, but I would love to see more of you as a business owner here and have more of a value proposition in the beginning. And what I mean by that is, you know, down here you have like what you're offering.
Yep.
Let's see, why does a seasoned corporate, up here you're talking about you and why you've made the pivot.
Right.
But I would love for you to brainstorm some of the value of being in the business beyond drinking wine, and put it up top. So thinking about, like, think back to your HR days, think back to why you came into this in the first place. Was it to create choice, to create time freedom, to create, maybe it's the community. Maybe part of it is being surrounded by these uplifting other professionals that are crushing it in a virtual online business selling wine, right? It's like, think about in your headline or in your about section up front, as good as it is, ask yourself, what can I put in there that's going to catch their attention because it's about them, like what I have to offer them. Like, how can I suck them in and then be like, yes, right? Something to consider, right?
Yeah, I think it was a good transition thing at the time, but I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, time to just step into your power and own this freaking business that's exploding, and you're a part of it. And who wants to jump on the wave with you, right?
Totally. Yay.
Love
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Desiree says, I love these hot seat calls. So helpful. So what's your homework? I can't remember. Remind me what we said your homework is.
I'm going to start using a couple of the scripts and personalize them to me.
Yep.
And I'm going to work on my about section to update that.
Yep, that's right. And when's your goal to hit EM? Have you owned that yet?
It was by the end of the year, but that hasn't happened. So it is now in Q1.
Okay. So like January 31st?
I just, unfortunately, it takes getting somebody that's pretty committed to get there. So.
Okay. Well, so I want you to kind of put it in the back of your head that, like, having Kat announce you when you hit EM is going to be huge. Yep. If you feel like I don't really understand your business, like, as far as the depths of that go, but if you feel like that's kind of going to take a while, then maybe you do want to have another coming out post before then, just to like, I've seen posts go out that say, it's been a while. I just want to reintroduce to you guys like where I am and what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Give a couple of bullets about your transition, or even do a live video, like record yourself and put it in there. People love to watch because not a lot of people do videos in there. Reach out to those people that you haven't responded to yet that said they're interested. Okay.
I will.
All right. George is saying, because if you don't, he's going to go reach out to him for you.
Too funny.
All right. Well, Julia, happy New Year. And hopefully this was helpful. Looking forward to seeing all the work that you guys put in on this.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. You guys have a good afternoon.
Bye.